The day they turned away, the sky over Earth was calm, but something far away in space was not. Deep in the void, a strange signal was moving, cold, silent, and full of danger. It came from a dying star, collapsing into something worse. Scientists on Earth called it the Black Echo. It wasn't just a black hole, it was alive, and it was coming closer. In the United Nations Space Command, panic started. Dr. Lena Morris, a top scientist, watched the data on her screen. Her hands were shaking. This could destroy everything, she whispered. Messages were sent to the Galactic Council, the leaders of the known universe. There were hundreds of alien races, strong, old, and wise. Earth was young among them, but hopeful. For years, humans had worked to earn their place in the stars. They believed in peace, in unity. They waited for help. They trusted the council. But the answer never came. Instead, a single line appeared on the communication screen. Earth is a non-priority system. No action will be taken. Shock spread like fire. World leaders argued. People cried. Dr. Lena stared at the message again and again, hoping it would change. They left us, General Sato said quietly in a meeting. They left us to die. The council had chosen. Earth to them was not important. It was a small blue planet, far from power, far from value. But Earth remembered. Humans remembered every time they helped during peace talks, every time they shared their tech, every time they followed the council's rules. And now they were alone. Weeks passed. The Black Echo was getting closer. The oceans started to react. Strange tides rose. Skies changed color. Earth's time was running out, but something else began too. A spark. If no one comes, said Dr. Lena in a broadcast to the world, we will save ourselves. Her voice was calm but strong. They think we are weak. They think we will beg. No, we will fight. Not just to survive, but to be seen. The world united. Old enemies shook hands. Borders opened. Money lost meaning. Every factory turned into a war lab. They called it Project Titan. Deep underground. Earth's best engineers built ships never seen before. Stronger than steel, faster than light, powered by Earth's wildest dreams and stolen alien tech. Yes, stolen. Long ago, alien ships had crashed on Earth. Pieces had been hidden by governments. Now nothing was hidden. Everything was used. This was no longer a time for secrets. Among the builders was Jason Ray, a young mechanic from Nevada. He had lost his parents to the first wave of ocean quakes. He didn't cry anymore. He worked. Every day, every night. They think we're nobodies, he said while welding a ship's core. Wait till they see us fly. In space, silent satellites watched. The Galactic Council knew what Earth was doing, but they didn't care. Humans were still a joke to them. Let the monkeys build, one alien leader said. They'll break. Their own toys. But they were wrong. Earth's first fleet rose after 5 months. Black and silver, shaped like spears. Inside, human pilots trained like never before. They were not soldiers. They were defenders. Survivors. And then, a surprise. One of the ships entered the neutral zone, a place guarded by the Council. The rules said Earth must stay out. The ship didn't listen. Its name was Valor 1, and it flew straight into alien territory. Council ships surrounded it in seconds. Lights flashed, weapons locked. Turn back or be destroyed, the alien captain ordered. The human pilot smiled. Her name was Maya Taylor. She was calm. You already left us for dead, she said over comms. Why act like you care now? Without firing a shot, Valor 1 escaped. Fast, clean, untouchable. The Council was shocked. This is not the Earth we knew, said one council member. What have they become? News spread fast. Humans were building. Humans were flying. Humans were changing. But deep under the Earth, Dr. Lena knew something more. She stared at a secret screen showing the Black Echo, We still don't know what it really is, she whispered. But whatever it is, it's coming. And we're the only ones who will face it. Behind her on the wall was a new flag. Not of one country, but of Earth United, and under it, 4 words written in bold. They turned away. Now we rise. Earth's last stand. The world had changed. After the Council's message, cold, heartless, and final, something inside humanity snapped. For centuries, they had looked to the stars with hope. Now they looked with rage. No more waiting. No more begging. No more pretending to be part of a family that never accepted them. Earth was done asking. They would build. They would fight. And if they had to fall, they would fall standing. In the skies above, cities were quiet. Most of the population had moved underground, where giant bunkers protected them from rising sea levels and shaking lands. Every screen across the globe showed one message: Project Titan. Earth's last stand begins now. Deep under Greenland's ice, the largest human facility ever built came to life. Its name, Fort Genesis. Thousands of engineers, pilots, scientists, and builders worked day and night. Their goal, create a fleet that could survive the impossible. But even in unity, fear was real. The Black Echo was now visible in space, a swirling storm of gravity and darkness, pulling light into itself. It didn't just eat stars, it killed space itself. It was coming, and no one else was. Dr. Lena Morris stood on a glass bridge, watching as the first human dreadnought was completed. It was larger than any ship humans had ever made. Its name was Simple Resolve, not Hope, not Peace, Resolve. How long before it's ready? She asked. Commander Akash replied, 6 days for launch, 3 to train the crew. Then, it's war. Lena nodded, her face cold. Good, because we won't get a second chance. But something strange happened that night. A message, not from the Council, not from Earth. It was old, buried in a deep frequency channel, one only used in times of war. This is Zorak of the Tharn Alliance, it said. Do not trust the Council. We tried to help. They silenced us. You are not alone. Lena froze. The Tharn were thought to be extinct. They had opposed the Council long ago. Rumors said they were destroyed for it. But here was a message from someone who survived. Before she could answer, the screen shut down. Jammed. Who sent it? Was it real or a trap? Meanwhile, in the Pacific Command Base, Jason Ray stood beside the ship he had helped build, Valor 2. It was faster than any alien cruiser, but he wasn't smiling. We're building these, he told his teammate, not knowing if they'll even matter. His friend Maya, now a decorated pilot, placed a hand on the ship's cold metal. They matter if we believe they do, she said, because if we don't, we're already lost. Suddenly alarms rang. A Council drone ship had entered the solar system. Just one, a warning, but humans didn't wait. 3 Valor-class ships launched without orders. They intercepted the drone and scanned it. Inside, a message, a voice, calm, cruel, and alien. Earth has chosen war. The Council accepts. Prepare for extinction. The drone self-destructed. No explosion, just silence. Like it never existed. Commander, Akash gathered the leaders. This isn't just about the Black Echo anymore, he said. They want to erase us. We have one shot. He opened a star map, pointed to a location. This is Eon Station, a hidden Council lab. Deep space. We believe it's where they monitor dark anomalies, like the Black Echo. You want to attack it? Lena asked. No, I want to take it. The mission was dangerous. 3 human ships. No backup. Deep into enemy space. But Earth had no time. Resolve, Valor 2, and Spectre 1 launched in silence. They passed Mars, past Jupiter, then they disappeared into slipspace. No one knew what would happen for hours. Nothing. Then a signal. We're in, said Maya's voice. Inside the Council station, humans moved like ghosts. Most of the staff had fled. They found computers. Files. Something horrible. The Black Echo wasn't natural. It was created. By the Council. Years ago, they had tried to weaponize gravity, but it failed. The Black Echo was born, and it was growing. Instead of fixing the mistake, they hid it, and now it was coming to Earth. Not by chance. By design. Maya sent the full data back to Earth. The truth hit like a bullet. They didn't just abandon us, Lena whispered. They used us. Humans weren't being ignored. They were being sacrificed. A test, a warning to other species. This is what happens when you rise too fast, when the human ships tried to leave the station. A council fleet arrived. 20 ships. More firepower than Earth had ever seen. Commander Akash, watching from Earth, made a call. We can't let them capture our people. Prepare orbital strike. But before he could give the final order, something happened. From deep space, unknown ships appeared. Sleek, silent, and marked with a symbol lost to time. The Tharn Alliance. They attacked the Council fleet without mercy. Maya's voice came through again. I think our message got through. On Earth, people watched the live feed as Council ships burned. For the first time, they felt something powerful. Not fear, not hate, but strength and unity. As Resolve returned to Earth, covered in scars but flying strong, Lena stood before the global broadcast again. They created the storm, she said. They let it grow, and they sent it to us. Her eyes were steady. Now we send them a message. The screen faded to black, and 4 words appeared again. They turned away. Now we rise. The spark of war space was silent, but everyone felt the sound of war coming. After the attack on Eon Station and the arrival of the Tharn ships, everything changed. Humanity was no longer seen as weak. They were no longer alone. And most of all, they were no longer afraid. But fear was not gone. It had simply shifted. From Earth to the Council. In a hidden part of the galaxy, the Council gathered. 13 alien leaders stood around a cold blue table. None spoke with their mouths, only with thoughts connected through neural links. Earth has crossed the line, one voice said. They destroyed Eon Station. They've made allies with the exiled, said another. They know about the Black Echo, a third whispered. We should have erased them when we had the chance. They all agreed. This was no longer about punishing humans. It was about survival. Begin the purge, the lead mind said. Earth must be removed from time. Meanwhile, on Earth, Fort Genesis had become a city. Tens of thousands now lived and worked inside its steel walls. Underground fields grew food. Children learned alien languages. Every screen played footage from Valor 2's victory. It had become more than a ship. It had become a symbol. But not everyone was celebrating. Darlena Morris stood in the war room, staring at something only a few had seen, the core file stolen from Eon Station. Inside was a map, not just of space, but of Council secrets, their shipyards, their weapon vaults, and their weakness. They're building something, Lena said, to General Akash. Not a fleet, something worse. In the hangar, Jason Ray finished upgrading the thrusters on Spectre 1. Its hull was still scarred from the last mission. Maya walked up behind him, tossing him a repair tool. You ever think we won't come back one day? She asked. He shrugged. If we don't come back, make sure you hit them harder. Maya smiled. Deal. That night, something strange appeared near Saturn. A small object. No engine. No signal. Just floating. A probe was sent. When the images came back, the room went silent. It was a message carved into metal. Your spark will die in darkness. And next to it, floating like a ghost, was the shredded wing of Valor 3. It was a warning. But humanity didn't stop. They prepared a counterstrike. Operation Fireglass was launched. Target, Nexus Prime, a hidden Council weapon factory on a dead moon. The goal, steal intel, disable the site, and return alive. But there was a catch. The moon wasn't just dead, it was cursed. Decades ago, the Tharn had tried to destroy it and failed. Strange readings, disappearing scouts, time shifts. But humans had no choice. Resolve, Spectre 1, and 3 Tharn shadow ships jumped into the dark. The surface of the moon was wrong. Gravity twisted. Light bent in circles. Inside the factory, the team found silence. Then they heard a voice. Not through radio, not through ears, but in their heads. "You are late." Maya gripped her helmet. "Who said that?" No answer, just breathing. And then from the shadows. Machines. Not council tech. Not Tharn. Something older. Something awake. "They were hiding this," Jason shouted. "They didn't build this, they found it." Fire erupted. Humans and Tharn fought side by side. Strange machines made of black crystal and silver bone attacked with perfect speed. Half the team was lost. Maya planted the data spike. "We came for the truth, let's take it home." They escaped, barely. Back on Earth, Lena opened the files. What she saw changed everything. The Black Echo, it wasn't just growing. It was feeding, and it was connected to these machines. An ancient species. Long dead, or asleep. They weren't just weapons. They were the reason the Council was afraid. On the Council world of Zirel, panic began. "Humans have touched the old ones," a voice said. "They must be purged now." A massive fleet was ordered, over 100 ships. The largest single armada since the fall of the Tharn. They would not ask. They would not warn. They would erase. On Earth, the sky burned red for 3 seconds. A solar flash, or so people thought. But it wasn't the sun. It was a slipspace ripple. A sign the armada had launched. Commander Akash stood before the world once more. "We will not bow. We will not beg. If they want to burn us, we'll burn brighter." Fort Genesis went dark, not because of fear, but preparation. Stealth shields activated. Civilians moved to deeper layers, orbital weapons charged. And then, humanity made their boldest move yet. They sent a message to the galaxy, to all species watching. "We are not asking for help. But if you believe in freedom and truth and standing your ground, now is the time. Rise, or fall with us." On hundreds of hidden worlds, eyes opened. Species who had once feared the Council now had a choice. And across space, small rebellions began. Tiny sparks, fires waiting to grow. The spark of war had been lit, and the galaxy was no longer quiet. Allies in the shadows, the stars were burning. Not from fire, but from change. The war hadn't started yet, but its shadow was already stretching across galaxies. Rebellion was growing. Fear was growing faster. Earth's message to the stars had worked, not as a cry for help, but as a dared, and someone answered. In orbit around Earth, Resolve floated in darkness, her lights dimmed. Stealth systems on. Inside, Dr. Lena Morris and Commander Akash sat in the strategy chamber, staring at the face on the screen. He didn't look human. Gray skin, black eyes, no mouth, only a speaking device around his throat. He introduced himself as Val Rek, a former general of the Tharn Alliance, the species the Council had erased a century ago. Except, not all of them were erased. Some hid, some waited, and some remembered. "You are not the first to challenge the Council," Valrek said, "but you are the first to make them bleed." He offered information. In exchange, he asked for nothing. "Why help us?" Akash asked. Valrek's answer was simple. "Because if they win this time, none of us will survive." He spoke of Project Severance, a Council plan kept secret for decades, a final weapon. Not a bomb, not a fleet, but a signal designed to shut down every mind enhanced by galactic tech, including ships, cities, even people. Any species that had accepted Council implants would fall. Only humans, still new to the stars, had not been linked. That made them the only ones immune, and the perfect test subject. Earth had been chosen not just for punishment, but for practice. Darlena's hands tightened into fists. How long until they use it? They already have, Valrek replied. On their own rebels. Meanwhile, deep in the South American mountains, something ancient began to stir. Project Titan's underground teams had started digging into parts of Earth never touched before, places filled with strange energy. They discovered a structure. Not human, not natural, and not sleeping. It was buried beneath the Andes, pulsing softly like a beating heart. Maya Taylor and Jason Ray were sent to investigate. As their shuttle landed, instruments began to fail. Compasses spun. Voices echoed where there were no walls. They entered the structure, and what they found changed everything. A chamber made of black stone. Walls covered in symbols, not words but memories. And in the center, a throne. Empty. Until Maya touched it. In a flash, her mind filled with visions. Not from the past, but from something outside. Time. She saw the Black Echo. She saw the machines on Nexus Prime. She saw the Council kneeling, not to gods, but to something worse. When she woke, Jason was holding her. You were gone, he said, voice shaking. Your eyes. They were glowing. Maya sat up slowly. They were hiding more than secrets, she whispered. They were hiding what came before. Back at Fort Genesis, Maya and Jason gave their report. The structure was not alien. It was pre-alien, from before the Council, from before memory. Humans had always believed they were late to the galaxy. But maybe they had always been part of something bigger. Maybe Earth wasn't chosen for destruction. Maybe it was feared. Darlena called an emergency summit with the Tharn. We believe the Black Echo isn't just a weapon, she said. It's a doorway. To where? Valrek asked. She paused, then said the word that had appeared on the stone walls in Maya's vision. The Void Empire. Valrek went silent. For a moment, even the air in the room seemed to stop. That's just a myth, Akash said. A legend. So were humans, Valrek replied. He told them a story. Thousands of years ago, long before the Council, there was an empire, not of species but of thought. They didn't build ships. They moved stars. They didn't use machines. They became them. They ruled the stars, and then vanished. Some say they ascended. Others say they were locked away. Now, they might be returning. The Council knew this. They had found fragments of the Void Empire's tech, and in their arrogance, they tried to use it. The machines on Nexus Prime, the Black Echo, even the signal from Project Severance. They weren't tools. They were keys, and the Council had turned them. We're not just fighting for our planet anymore, Lena said quietly. We're fighting to stop the end of everything. While Earth scrambled to build defenses, the Council made their next move. A betrayal. They activated a spy. Someone planted deep inside Fort Genesis years ago. His name was Darren Cole. Human, former pilot, decorated war hero. But he was never loyal. He was born on a Council-run moon colony, taken as a child and trained to serve. And now, he was awake. His mission: assassinate the leaders, disable the fleet, and transmit Earth's coordinates to a void-woken machine near the Black Echo. He almost succeeded. He planted charges near the shipyard. He hacked the communication tower. He even got within 20 feet of Commander Akash. But Jason noticed something. Frequency, hidden in the noise. The same one used by the probe that carried the warning from Valor 3. He followed it and found Darren. They fought in the lower decks, hand to hand, no weapons. Blood on metal. When Jason finally overpowered him, Darren smiled. You're already too late, he whispered. They're not coming to conquer. They're coming to awaken. The charges were disarmed. Fort Genesis was saved. But a signal had been sent. And out in the dark, near the edge of the Black Echo, something answered. A shape. Not a ship. Not a planet, but a memory made real. It moved without moving, watched without eyes, and as it came alive, stars began to flicker. On Earth, Lena watched the footage with shaking hands. "How do you fight something that doesn't want to win?" she whispered. Akash looked at her. "You don't," he said. "You fight so it doesn't want to wake up." Fall of a Titan, the Black Echo had changed shape. It no longer looked like a storm. It now looked like a mouth. Open, waiting, and it was moving faster. In Fort Genesis, the command center was silent. No alarms, no shouting, just the sound of the signal. A slow, pulsing hum, one that matched no known frequency. Maya Taylor stood by the window, watching the stars flicker in and out. "It's breathing," she whispered. Akash turned to her. "What?" "The Black Echo. It's alive." Dr. Lena Morris entered with a data chip. On it, the last translation from the void structure in the Andes. One phrase repeated over and over again: "Do not let the Titan fall." No one knew what it meant, until now. Earth's largest ship, Titan I, the mobile space city, the pride of Project Titan, had been sent to intercept the Council's second fleet near the edge of Saturn's orbit. It wasn't just a warship. It carried half of Earth's elite pilots, half of its experimental tech, and one secret weapon, Arclight, a device reverse-engineered from the void structure, untested, unstable. Its mission: delay the Council. Buy Earth time, and if needed, detonate inside Titan I. Captain Elias Kane stood on the bridge, his hands steady, but his eyes heavy. He had led the ship from its first weld. He had trained with every crew member. He had memorized every corridor. To him, Titan I wasn't a ship. It was home, and now he had been ordered to protect Earth at all costs, even if it meant never returning. "Council fleet incoming," said his second-in-command. "How many?" Elias asked. 72. He took a breath. "And us?" "Just us." Elias looked out the viewport. "Good." Meanwhile, back on Earth, Maya begged to go. "Send Valor 2 with them. They'll need backup." Akash shook his head. "We can't risk losing both Titans." Maya's voice rose. "They're not going to survive." Akash looked at her. His voice was calm, but his face was cracked. "They know that." In orbit, the sky near Saturn lit up. Titan I moved like a mountain with wings. Council ships surrounded it like wasps. They demanded surrender. Elias sent only 3 words in return: "Come and bleed," and then fire. The battle was chaos. Titan I's weapons tore through alien cruisers like paper, but there were too many. Every second, shields dropped. Every second, lives were lost. Elias stayed on the bridge, giving orders, moving crew, patching systems with his own hands, and when the power core flickered, he went below himself. "Sir, that's not your job," the engineer said. Elias smiled. "Today, everything is my job." On Earth, signals started to fade, images cut in and out. Then, static, and then one final message. A live video from Elias Kane, his face bloody, uniform torn, but his voice steady. "To my crew, my world, my people." He paused as the ceiling shook above him. "We held. We gave them fear. Now give them fire." Behind him, someone handed him the Arclight trigger. "They can break our ship," he said, "but not our will." He looked directly at the camera. "Ignite it." The screen went white, then silent, then gone. In the sky above Saturn, Titan I exploded, not in pieces, but into light. The Arclight triggered a chain reaction, tearing open. Space for a moment. The Council fleet was caught in the blast, over 40 ships and gone, and with them, Earth's greatest ship. In Fort Genesis, no one moved. Maya stared at the blank screen, her fists clenched. Darlena closed her eyes. Akash didn't speak. He simply whispered, "Thank you." News spread across the stars. Humans had sacrificed a Titan to stop a fleet. The Council had won a battle, but at a cost they never imagined. They called humans suicidal, reckless, insane, but others started to call them leaders. In the ruins of a shadow world, a rebel faction of the Zykel species declared open war on the Council. On the gas moon of Vera, engineers of the machine-born refused to obey Council shutdown codes, and somewhere near the edge of void space, a fleet of lost Tharn ships lit their engines for the first time in 100 years. The galaxy was waking up, and Titan 1 was the match, but Earth was still bleeding. Inside Fort Genesis, families waited for names. A wall of light showed photos of the fallen. Over 2,000 souls. Maya stood alone at the wall, searching for Captain Elias's picture. He didn't have one, only his name, and a single line beneath it. He burned so others could see. Days passed. Then, a new signal. From the Black Echo, Maya, Jason, Lena, and Akash gathered in the chamber. The signal wasn't a warning. It was a message. Not from the Council, not from the Tharn, from the void. It wasn't a voice. It was a feeling, wave of pressure, a thought that wasn't yours, but now lived in your head. We see your fire. We will meet your end. Lena stared at the readings. This isn't just communication. This is contact. Akash leaned in. Contact with what? Maya's eyes didn't blink. With whatever made the Black Echo. The battle for Saturn was just a prologue. The real war hadn't begun, and the enemy wasn't the Council anymore. They were just puppets, trying to hold the strings of something they never understood. Jason looked at the others. So what now? Maya turned. We fight harder, Lena added. We dig deeper. Akash nodded. And we make sure the next Titan doesn't fall. He looked at the wall of names. Alone. In a hidden chamber beneath Fort Genesis, engineers gathered around a new blueprint. A ship, bigger than Titan 1, smarter, angrier. Its name had no number, only a purpose. Titan Retribution. The turning tide space remembers silence, but not today. Today it would remember rage. 2 weeks after the fall of Titan 1, the universe had changed. Not completely, but enough to feel the shift. Enough to taste it in the static between stars. On hundreds of hidden worlds, rebellion was no longer a whisper. It had become a fire. The galaxy had finally seen it. Humans were not just survivors. They were the spark. And now, they were coming. Inside Fort Genesis, a new monster stood in the hangar, twice the size of Titan 1, coated with void-resistant alloy, powered by Earth's hybrid core, a fusion of human science, Tharn shielding, and something older. Her name was Titan Retribution, and she wasn't built to survive. She was built to end things. Commander Akash stood before the crew, 5,000 strong. Men and women, veterans and teenagers, all handpicked, all ready to die if needed. He looked at them and said just 5 words. You are the sharp edge. Then he walked away. No long speech, no cheering, just purpose and silence. Maya Taylor stood on the bridge, now promoted to lead pilot. Beside her, Jason Ray, now a chief tech officer, finished locking in the navigation cores. The ship thrummed beneath them, like a sleeping animal about to wake. You ready for this? Jason asked. Maya didn't look up. No. He laughed softly. Same. The plan was simple. Operation Duskfall. Target, Zyril Prime, one of the Council's main command planets. Objective: send a message, not to the Council, but to everyone else still afraid. But as Retribution prepared for launch, strange readings began to appear in the outer system. The Black Echo was pulsing again. But this time, it wasn't pulling stars. It was pushing something out. A wave, not made of light, not made of matter, but made of thought. On a moon base near Neptune, dozens of minds simply stopped. No pain. No warning. They just dropped, like puppets with cut strings. The only survivors were humans, and a few Tharn. They called it the Echo Wave. But Lena Morris knew better. "This isn't an attack," she said. "It's a question." "A question?" Akash asked. She nodded slowly. "It's asking who belongs." Meanwhile, the assault on Zirel began. Retribution entered slipspace with 2 Tharn destroyers and 5 Valor-class cruisers. The Council had no idea. On arrival, humans didn't land. They didn't speak. They didn't send warnings. They just opened. The Sky Retribution's cannon, Nova Tier 3, fired a beam so hot it bent the planet's atmosphere. Military bases vanished. Transmission towers melted. And above, in orbit, the human flag was deployed. The message was sent galaxy-wide. We remember who turned away. Across the stars, everything cracked. Rebels rose on 17 Council worlds. The Zykel joined humans openly, declaring independence. Even within the Council itself, whispers of collapse began. Meetings turned into arguments. Orders were ignored. Spies went silent. But amidst the chaos, one cold fact remained. The Black Echo was still growing. And no matter how many ships they built, how many planets they took, they didn't know what it really was. Then came the transmission. Unknown source. Unknown language. Except Maya understood. It had played in her mind, not through any speaker, just 4 words. "We are already home." Dr. Lena ran tests on Maya. What she found chilled her to the bone. During the contact with the Void Throne in the Andes, the strange structure from Part 4, something had changed inside Maya. Her DNA was normal, but her brain activity was not. Somehow, she had become a receiver, not of signals but of consciousness from the void. "They're not just watching us," Lena whispered. "They're watching through her." Maya heard things now, not voices, memories, echoes of civilizations that no longer existed, machines dreaming in black oceans. Wars fought in time, not space, and one single horrifying truth. The Black Echo was not coming to Earth. It was coming from Earth. At first, everyone denied it. Impossible. But Lena began to dig deeper. Through data from the void structure, through Earth's magnetic core, readings, and the truth became clear. Millions of years ago, before humans existed, Earth had been a vault, a prison. Something had been sealed inside. Something ancient, vast, and unspeakably intelligent. The Void Empire hadn't vanished. They had been buried, and Earth was the lid. The Black Echo wasn't just a signal. It was a lock breaking. Piece by piece. Wave by wave. Retribution returned from the assault on Zarella Hero. Humans cheered. The Council trembled. But in the command chamber, no one was celebrating. Maya looked at the others. "We opened it," she said quietly. Akash leaned forward. "So what do we do?" Maya answered without blinking. "We close it." Operation Frostveil was approved, a last-ditch plan to send a deep-core device into Earth's molten center. If they could collapse the fault line of energy beneath the void structure, they might seal the breach. But there was a catch. The device couldn't be remote activated. Someone had to go with it. And stay. Maya volunteered. So did Jason. So did 100 others. In the end, only one was chosen. Daughter Lena Morris. She didn't argue, didn't cry, didn't hesitate. As she suited up in her heat armor, she looked at the others and said, "If we die in the dark, let them see our fire." The drill pod launched into the core, miles below the crust, through burning rock, through forgotten metal, and through something else. Something watching, not stopping her, just waiting. When she reached the final depth, Lena activated the core. But just before detonation, a thought passed through her mind, not hers. It asked a question, not in words, but in feeling. It asked, "Why do you fight so hard?" "To be seen," she replied. "Because you tried to erase us." And she pressed the button. Above in the skies, the Black Echo flinched. Not much, but enough. For the first time, it stopped growing. Earth shook. Oceans shifted. But it held. And when the smoke cleared, Lena was gone. In her memory, A monument was built. Not a statue, not a tomb. Just a wall with her words. If we die in the dark, let them see our fire. They should have helped. Space was quiet again, but it wasn't peace. It was the silence before the last scream. After Dr. Lena Morris gave her life to seal the breach at Earth's core, the black echo had stopped growing. Not gone, just watching, waiting. Maya, Taylor could feel it, humming at the edge of her thoughts. No words, just a presence, ancient, calm, and patient. We slowed it, she said to Commander Akash. How long before it wakes again? He asked. Maya looked up at the sky. Not long. The council was breaking. Their fleets shattered, their leaders silent, their systems in rebellion. Dozens of species had declared independence. But it wasn't a victory, because something worse had risen in the power vacuum. Not a nation, not an army, a belief. That Earth was the enemy of the stars. Some said humans had disturbed the ancient prison. Others said they were the descendants of it. And a few believed Earth was the key. While politicians argued, the black echo began to flicker again. This time, not outward, but inward, a massive pull. Stars bent in its direction, planets shifted orbit, and deep in the shadows beyond mapped space. Shape appeared. Not a fleet, not a weapon, a structure, so massive it blocked starlight. A ring, orbiting nothing, empty in the center, waiting. Maya, Jason, Akash, and the last of Earth's leadership met inside Fort Genesis, Val Rec, the last of the Tharn joined via secure channel. We call it the Crown of Return, he said. It's not a machine, it's an invitation. Invitation to what? Jason asked. Val Rec paused. To ascend, or to be erased. The crown began sending out pulses. Every species heard it differently. To some, it was a melody. To others, screams. To humans, nothing. Only Maya could hear its true message: come forward, or stay forgotten. The council, weakened but desperate, sent what was left of their fleet to the crown. 30 ships. They vanished in minutes. No signal, no wreckage, just silence. Earth had one chance. The crown had a gate, a central passage. That would open for one ship. The message was clear. Send your fire. Show us your purpose. Maya volunteered to go, but Akash shook his head. You've done enough. Maya looked him in the eyes. That's why I have to go. They chose Titan Retribution for the mission. The ship had been built for war. Now, it would fly into a test far beyond weapons. It launched with a crew of only 10, the best of Earth, Jason included. As Retribution approached the crown, the gate opened. Space bent, light changed, and then they were gone. Inside the crown was not space. Not as humans understood it. They floated through memory, through time, through judgment. Each crew member saw something different. One relived every failure. One faced a lost loved one. One saw themselves as a child, asking why they mattered. The crown was not a test of strength, it was a test of self, of truth, of identity. In the center of the structure, a voice finally spoke, not through air, not through language, but through understanding. Maya stood in the core chamber. Before her was a sphere of living metal, pulsing, breathing, waiting. You carry fire, it said. Yes, she answered. You carry pain. She nodded. You carry memory. Because no one else would, she said. The voice paused, then spoke again. When they turned from you, what did you feel? Maya closed her eyes. Abandonment. And now? She opened them. Clarity. The sphere changed. It unfolded, revealing something not alien, not machine, something human, or what humanity could one day become. The void didn't fear humans. It was waiting for them. Outside, the crown began to collapse in on itself, but not in destruction. In transformation, Retribution escaped just in time. As it exited the gate, The black echo pulsed once. Bright, silent, final, and then disappeared. Back on Earth, celebrations began, not for victory, but for survival. The galaxy slowly began to rebuild. The council dissolved, new alliances formed. Earth was not asked to join. It was asked to lead. At Dr. Lena Morris's memorial, Maya stood before billions. We were forgotten. We were rejected. We were left to die. She paused. And still, we chose to rise. Behind her, a single message appeared on the global broadcast. A reminder, not of war, not of vengeance, but of truth. They should have helped.